little out of time. Good morning. We made it last night. Had a good nice rest. Now it's time to go to work. So let's go see what Paul and Randy are up to this morning.
18 inches.
Hey, Mr. Chad back. Morning.
How are you guys? Oh, scratching the head. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, it's already that way this morning.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, we're building stuff here. We're attempting to build stuff.
Second weekend. This will be day 4 of this little project. Just trying to get everything set back up after being gone for 5 days. So got all my terminals and tape and tools out and ready to get back to wiring. Okay, trying to get myself caught back up to where I was last weekend. We did find a couple of things that we forgot. We didn't get the washer pump put in, so I'm gonna untape this harness, run a couple more wires in it. Found the correct connector for the alternator and figured out that I need one more wire for the alternator. So I'll get that ran through the harness. Got the temperature switch for the fan. Had to modify it a little bit to work in that little hole, so get that done. Should be good. All right, got this one corner just about wired up. Last week, Ken took and wrote down all the wire colors because he kind of started this before we ran out of time, so we just stuck it here. And as you can tell, Ben was here. So thanks, Ben. Glad you were here. The wires right here from the turn signals, the headlight, and the side marker. I just put a connector right here, so it's easy to pull this apart. Pinning this big old connector out for the sidekick column, so trying to assign what all these wires are to so I can integrate them into the Nugget harness. So I think I about got these plugs figured out. This connector here goes up to that connector for the turn signals, windshield wipers, headlights, high-low beams, and everything else. And I still got to connect that to power for the high beams. But yeah, we're getting really close on this. That's ready to plug into the brake light switch. Ignition switch is all taken care of. There were 6 wires, so I got 2 different connectors on it. This is the main power wire to the ignition switch, so I ran it through 2 terminals on this connector to make sure it can handle the current load. And then these are all the outs that power up the fuse box from the ignition switch. And then this purple wire is the magic wire that engages the starter. Then the next step is this big old set of wires. Those go to the wiper motor, and then these are going to be, there'll be a power wire for the cigarette lighter.
And knowing Ed, you need a cigarette lighter.
Yeah, I noticed I got an ashtray in here for him, so that's pretty good. I'm starting to see the end of this project, so this has gone on forever. I've probably been right here in this same spot for at least 4 hours, but probably closer to 6. So we're just about to the point where I need to make my connections at the battery and proof out everything that I've done so far before I tape up any more of the harness. Yeah, I'll probably take a break from this for a minute, so pulling my hair out.
You don't have any.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dang it. Got a lot of this stuff done. Just had a couple little wires I had to change on the instrument cluster. I ended up having to change the wiring on the headlight switch. Turned out that this headlight switch uses ground to turn the headlights on instead of power. So I ended up having to swap to relays to have the ground of the switch turn the relays on to run the headlights, so I wouldn't have to rewire the headlights. So that was a nice little surprise. Got the wipers all wired. This 8-pin harness is mostly wiper stuff. So
8 pins seems like a lot. I don't have that many kids.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about briefly is people ask me all the time how I do this. How do you take a component like this with a 20-pin connector or more. This is the connector that was on the multi-function switch, because it does everything: wipers, turn signals, headlights, everything. So the way I do it is I have wiring diagrams for each system, so I can pin out each wire, and as I identify each wire, I cut it out of this connector and then I tag it. So you can see a lot of these wires are still tagged. So that gives me a function, and then I'll make a note on my list here of what the wire color is, and then I know what the wire color is on the harness that I built, so I have to do it by function rather than by wire color. So it gets a little confusing, but if you take your time, do one wire at a time, one circuit at a time, you can usually get it. And then just pay attention, be thinking about it as you do it, and that's how I figured out that I messed up on the headlight switch. So that's just the long and the short of it. Just do one at a time and don't get intimidated or overwhelmed by it.
We got Paul and Chad here with a whole bunch of questions that people have posted about the Nugget, so we're gonna see if we can get them to answer them. Okay, you guys ready for the first one?
Shoot, who's answering?
You probably have to, because it's how long has this taken? So when did you pull it out?
I think the first time I laid eyes on this thing was in July of last year. And then we made a game plan to go back and get it in October. So I had it for 2.5 months after that. Then Robbie had it, and I just got it back last week. So it's actually moving fast.
Yeah, it really is. I
Yeah.
mean, for a 1,500-hour restoration, it's done really well. So usually restorations like this, I've done a lot of them, and they're a year minimum. Then a lot of them take 2 years.
So not too long.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Why is the axle off center, and why do the tires stick out?
All right, the axle one's easy. So we put a Samurai front and rear end under this, but it has a sidekick motor in it and transmission transfer case. The Samurai is an offset drive. It has a divorce transfer case, which works out. But we are running a married transfer case, so it's on an angle. That's the way it is. It's gonna work fine.
And then as far as the width question, these are stock Samurai axles. The wheels have a reasonable offset. It just shows how much smaller the Nugget is compared to a normal Samurai. This thing is tiny. Without seeing it in person, it's hard to explain just how small this is. So.
It's over a foot narrower than a Samurai and 2.5 feet shorter than a Samurai.
Couple other questions. Heat shield under the master cylinder. Is there going to be one? Why is there not one? Paul, this is for you.
Well, I don't think there needs to be one. We drive it, and if it gets hot and there's an issue, we'll put one in it. But there's no reason to create more work. There's plenty of work to do without making it.
Agreed.
Last question. Why isn't there a brake booster? Chad?
There simply isn't any room. If you look right here, the master cylinder is all but touching the inside of the fender there. And a brake booster, a small brake booster is 8 inches, so you would need 4 inches from center on either side. It's just not physically possible to put one in. And there's really no need to do it anyway. This has way more brakes than it ever had. The pedal effort should be pretty comparable to like a 3/4 ton pickup. So
when this is all done, we're gonna rip it down to Dar's gravel pit, throw it on the scale. I'll bet it weighs 1,500 pounds. So,
but it's light.
yep, it's super light.
To put that into perspective, a 4-seat, like a XP1000 Razor weighs about 1,500 pounds empty. So it's smaller than a Razor and weighs about the same, I bet. So Geo Metro probably weighs more than this. So
That's crazy to think of.
it is. Yeah, me and Dar could add 50% to it. So
I mean, if you take the pounds divided by the number of brakes it's got way more than any other vehicle on the road.
it really does.
But the important number you guys are all missing, the power to weight ratio.
Oh yeah.
So it was 23 horse factory. Now it's 91 or 2. So it's going to be a rocket.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to drive.
Late night last night. Stayed up, got a lot of stuff done. Before I called it a night, I made some little lists for each corner just so I can remember what it was I needed to do. So. Most of this stuff that's loomed up to do my finished wiring, I gotta put some covering over it and then I can get it attached up in here. So in this spot, there's a lot of sharp points. So I use this braided covering over it. It'll hold up to that quite well. Get that ran, then I can wire the lights. I got this harness ran. It's pinched fairly snugly in between the engine and the inner fender. So I just need to plug those in. The interior, everything's ran. I haven't taped anything up yet, and I won't tape anything up until I hook up the battery and test everything out. Just a few more minutes here and we'll get the battery hooked up and see how many mistakes I made. So
We are in the Fab Rat shot, so you do it nice because you do it twice.
So I've got this harness built in this corner here. I'm using weather pack connectors here so we can get it apart in the future if need be. I haven't tested this yet and I don't want to snap the housing over these wires until I test it. So let's get the battery hooked up and see what works and see what doesn't.
Dang, that's bright.
Yes it is. Let's see. Let's turn the key on. So everything works up there. That's
Yep, both high beams, both low beams, amber circles.
Okay.
We're going passenger. Right turn signal.
Hey, I got that right.
Left turn signal.
What do we got on the back?
There we got everything.
Oh.
No light. Oh, there it is. Left turn signal. What's that weird buzzing?
I think the turn signal switch is dirty.
Okay, good with that.
Oh,
Go
so
right.
when clicking, it's gone right.
Oh, we got a right turn signal.
We have reverse.
Reverse light.
Oh, cool. Well, that worked. Okay, brake lights.
Yes, brake lights.
All right, let's check the trailer wiring.
Woohoo.
Yummy.
All you do is eat.
I'm hungry, okay?
Teenage
My breakfast
boys.
is small.
All right, let's see how Kean did here.
Well, from previous experience, he did better than Chad, so.
I bet you anything can...
This is another video. People are supposed to forget those kinds of things. We're good there. Okay, Kenner, turn signal. Let's see, that should be that one. Okay, now left. Perfect. Okay, so we have trailer wiring too. That all works.
Yeah, brake.
I guess we have to check that, make sure the converter box is working properly, huh? Okay, go ahead and step on it. Okay, all right, we're good. You want to see if the four ways work? The hazards, the red button on top of the column? Ooh, they work too. Here's the big test. Did I get my powers tested right?
How would you know?
So, turn the key off and the hazard should work. And they do,
Yep,
but the turn signal should not.
and they don't.
So key on. All right, we can see if we got computer now. We know everything on the lighting seems to be working. So now we need to plug this in. This is the connector that powers the computer. I left it unplugged while I was testing that other stuff because I didn't want the computer running until I was focused on what it was doing. So let's turn the key on and we should hear the fuel pump run. There it goes. Tank's empty, so we don't want to be doing that again until we get some fuel in it because we'll burn up the fuel pump. So I'll unplug that till we get fuel in it. To this point, we should be good. I guess I can plug the instrument cluster in and see what we have there. Got the instrument cluster in, so let's see. We got dash light. We got dash light. I got the light for the cigarette lighter. High beam indicator. That works. Let's see, what about the turn indicators? Oh, I don't have any turn indicators. That's not good. Okay, I'll have to dig into that. What about temperature gauge? Is it moving?
Nope, not at all.
Maybe the instrument cluster's bad.
Test light here. The key on.
Nope,
Oh, that'll make that a difference. There we go.
keys on.
Okay, let's try it again with the key on this time. Still no movement?
Still no movement.
That's really weird. It came unplugged. Let's try that again.
Now that it's plugged in all the way.
Let's see. Oh, hey, look at that. That fixed our turn indicators.
It's
Oh,
the green wire, right?
Sweet.
Just got to get the connectors fully seated. That should work. I'm confused as to why it's not.
Would it be bad?
I doubt it.
Okay, it's in. No.
That's it. I guess the temperature gauge went bad. Well, I could figure because we got power right at the gauge. We got continuity through the printed circuit, and we got continuity from the connector to where the temperature sender is. So, well, okay. There's nothing more I can do with that. Maybe
just
it'll
need
start
to-
working. It might just need a little love.
Makes you think of that show when you'd say, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Yeah, name that movie.
Okay, one last thing to check. So I need to make sure that I've got the wiring to the ignition switch and the neutral safety right. I know the shifter's out of adjustment from when we were playing with the reverse lights. We know it doesn't start in part because of the shifter being out of adjustment, so we'll drop it down into neutral. So let's see if it cranks. It does crank. Nice.
Did you hear that?
All right, so I got a couple little things to tidy up, and I'm gonna put some fuel in it. I wish Paul was here. Paul got called out to help Matt recover one out in Lake Powell, so he's not here, and it kind of bothers me that he's not here to hear it try and start anyways.
Or hopefully run for the first time.
Yeah, so that would be pretty exciting. Anyway, Paul said he was fine with it. He just was happy to know that it runs when he comes back. Got the fan wired up, and it seems to be working good. That's all tidied up in there. Ready to go. So the last real big thing I have left, I need to tidy up everything in here. I'll take and tape all this up and get it tied up under the dash so you can't really see it. You can always see the computer, there's just not enough room to hide it. And this is the connector for the windshield wiper motor, but I don't dare connect it till we pull the windshield wiper blades off because I don't know if the motor is parked. So I taped it up so that nobody makes that same mistake. So there's nothing worse than running some wipers through brand new paint. Done that before, it's not the thing to do. All right, got the wiring all cleaned up, all taped up, fuse box is mounted, all this wiring's tucked up and cleaned up. So yeah, there's really no wires visible when you look into the car. Only you can see is the diagnostic connector for the new computer. I just put that for easy access. But yeah, everything's been tested out to work. Well, almost everything. We haven't checked out. Oop, that's not bolted down yet. Hey, that does have an adjustment. Let's see what we got here. So we got, oh, that switch is still dirty. Does that light in the cowl work?
Sure does.
All right, what about this one? Yeah, it's working. That's the cigarette lighter, so we'll have Paul put that in. Like I said, I'm out of time. I really want to hear this thing run before I have to go. I'm supposed to be home in, what, 2 hours? And it's a 4-hour drive home, so I'm already late. We did get all our lists crossed off. Got that. I didn't get that one completely done. I'm going to leave the winch for Paul to do. I got that one done. We still need to put the covers on the battery terminals. Paul can do that when he's got everything all ready and he feels like he can trust everything on the car. There's the license plate light on the license plate bracket. Hopefully, we'll get some gas in it, check for fuel leaks, and a little bit of luck, it might even start. Let's see how Paul did. See if it holds any fuel.
If it runs out on the ground.
Yeah, that'd be expensive.
You don't see anything
Uh,
leaking.
Okay.
Don't know
There's
if it-
about, oh, there's only like 3 gallons in this, so. Okay, that's about it. We'll see if the pump will prime, and this is when things start getting dicey. I heard the pump, I heard it build pressure, and I didn't hear anything hit the ground, so.
I haven't seen anything run out from under it yet.
Yeah, nothing leaking.
All right. Well, no leaks. Cycle it one more time and see what happens when we crank it on it.
Oh,
That sounds cool.
Sounds
We
like-
like that. Oop, I think it flooded itself up.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, we got a leak somewhere.
How can you tell?
Looks like it's leaking right off the
Off
side
that
of that.
little- Yep, it's leaking right off it. Drip, 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 drip.
Yeah, it's leaking right off the regulator. Where the regulator bolts to the throttle body there. Well, it popped. You want to go crank on it, Kenner?
Sure.
See if we can get her to pop. Be ready to shut it off, so.
A little out of time.
That scared me.
Yeah.
Scared Dar too.
Yeah.
I got my safety protection with the piece of 20 gauge steel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we get this time.
Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Clear?
Okay, again.
That's about 20 horses, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, try that again. Nice out. I don't know what this distributor turns. Okay, again.
Nothing.
Really? What's going on now?
Starter?
Looks like a safety won't let it turn.
You'd hear a clunk if it was a starter.
Well, no, not necessarily. The solenoid might have took a digger on the. Let's see. Got my test slide. Oh, crazy. Going to start.
I know, it was right there.
Yeah, close, but no cigar.
Well, good luck.
You want to go crank it, Kenny? Okay. Okay, try it. Oh, yeah.
Starter dive?
It totally did. One more time.
It fried the starter.
Yeah, started. The solenoid's done. Well, let's see what we got here for a second. Okay, try that.
Cranking? Nothing.
Nothing. Well, folks, I guess that's it. We got a good jump out of Dar anyway, so.
It almost ran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it would have ran if the starter wouldn't have decided to kill over, so. But Paul's got a fuel leak here, and I think that's it. I'll roll under it, make sure there's no
See.
leaks underneath, but it should start. You heard it at least try and pop to life, but I guess you'll get to see it on Paul's channel after all. Okay, well, I think that's,
Go home, huh?
yep, I guess I'll pack up my dolls and dishes and head north. Till next time, remember the random acts of kindness, and thanks for watching. We talked to Matt, and he'd like for everyone who had a role in this project to sign the underside of the hood. And I get a blank canvas here, it looks like, so I feel kind of special. Will this go right here, because I'm short.
First one down.
First one. A lot of good signatures are going on there, so.
All right, Chad, we got the new starter installed. This one was junk, completely junk. So hit it, Ben. Let's see if it cranks. Oh yeah. There you go. You were one crank away from having it running, Chad. Tough luck, I guess, but we got it. Thanks for all the hard work.